Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining me. I am Teresa Santos with La Rosa Realty and the VIP Group, and I'm here with your tip of the week. And today we're going to talk a little bit about sellers' disclosures and how important sellers' disclosures are. Okay, so for instance, when you get a listing, the first thing you want to do, obviously, once they sign the exclusive right of listing and you have all that great stuff done, is get a seller's disclosure. But why is the seller's disclosure so important? Because that is going to dictate what is wrong with the property, right? So when you go through this listing presentation and you go visit the home, one of the things that you should do as a realtor is obviously take a tour of the house, right? Usually when I take a tour, I like to look at the ceiling, right? Because I want to see if there's any stains in the ceiling, anything that looks suspicious that there might have been a repair or there might have been a leak, right? A lot of times I'll even look underneath the kitchen cabinets, right? And I'll tell them obviously to remove everything out of the kitchen cabinets for when the inspector comes, when they go under contract, but that's a different story. But anyway, I want to make sure that you guys understand how important it is for you to do, when you do the walkthrough, to pay attention to these things, right? When you're going through that listing tour, right? You're going to look at the foundation, right? See if there's any cracks on the floor, see if there's any cracks on the walls, inside and outside, in case of settling, or you see anything, maybe the fascia from around the roof is rotted, right? So those are all things that you need to pay attention to as a real estate agent so that you can ask the seller those particular questions, because those things need to be disclosed in the seller's disclosure. Why is it so important for that to be there? Because you can become, or the brokerage can become, liable if that buyer buys that, and let's say the seller didn't disclose it. Like, let's say you did the walkthrough and you see a stain on the roof, right, or on the ceiling, and you ask the seller, hey, Mr. Seller, I see that there's a stain on the roof. Is there an active leak? Was that repaired? And if so, do you have receipts for those repairs? Right? Because sometimes they'll repair it, but they don't have any receipts. And if something happens, the buyer's going to want to see those receipts. If the inspector comes and they say, yeah, there was an active leak, looks like it was repaired, they're going to want to see receipts. Okay, so make sure that you understand that you're going to have to explain that to the seller, that if he did fix the leak, that he should have some receipts available, because the buyer might ask for them before closing, okay, in case there's any warranties or anything of that nature. If they know of any plumbing issues, any leaks, anything like that, just be very clear with the seller that they have to disclose all active material, even if it was in the past. So let's say they had a leak in the kitchen, right? Let's say their plumbing was leaking or whatever, and now all of a sudden they filed a claim and they had a brand new kitchen done because they had some active leak in the kitchen. That still has to be disclosed. So there is a section there that if you've had any claims on the property, and a lot of sellers think that if it's a claim that was 2, 3, 4 years ago that was already closed and the repairs have already been done, that's not important. But that's not the case. You have to make sure that they disclose that. So asking those pertinent questions and looking at that seller's disclosure to see where they answered, because a lot of the agents get that seller's disclosure back, they just upload it, they don't even look at it, right? But you should be looking at it to see if there's any red flags, because those red flags are going to come up once that buyer gets that seller's disclosure. And you want to be able to be preventive and be able to have answers for that buyer's agent if they ask regarding that, right? We know that we have to give that seller's disclosure immediately right after we go under contract, because you want to make sure that the buyer has, if they have any questions regarding the seller's disclosure, that they can ask those questions. So make sure that you have that available right away so that you don't have to worry about chasing the sellers down for that seller's disclosure after you're under contract. So get that seller's disclosure right away, but pay attention to detail when it comes to that seller's disclosure. And that's how important the seller's disclosure is. So I hope that helps. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for all these real estate tips that you're going to get, and follow us. So I will see you on our next video.